So let's go ahead and jump down to the arena and see these players as they set up. Like we said, it is not Dromai and Borvo, but we almost got another Borvo on stream.
Oh, man, it was a possibility. But they are winning games, and that's great. Again, I don't know how many. There's 14 of them out there. I don't know what the overall results are for them, how many are threatening for top 8, but I said it earlier on that it's very difficult for Bravo players to actually convert to the top 8. I said there's going to probably be one. I'd be surprised if there's 2, but we're poised to see that as we're entering round number 6 of 7 at the Battle Hardened here in Milwaukee. 119 players registered for this bad boy, and it's Uzuri Switchblade played by Aiden versus Sir Boltyn Breakerodon.
Yes, we do have to put the Breakerodon in there because it doesn't fit in the space if you type the F. So no Fs in chat and none given as well. As Alex sitting on a casual 4-1 saying, yeah, you know this hero that so many people deride on their tier lists? Well, I'll just be 4-1 through 5 rounds. That's fine. But staring down a very scary and very tricky hero on the Assassin class is Uzuri Switchblade. And there's like 1,000 different ways to build Uzuri, and all of them just seem good, which is just crazy and super cool. So we're going to see how this kind of melts out. But do keep in mind, Uzuri does have access to the brand new expansion slot card, Already Dead. And that is a huge get. Very, very good card in general, into a variety of matchups, so we'll see that most likely in play here if Aiden's running it.
And standard procedure for chat, tell them not to do something. They will immediately do it in droves. That's how it goes. So don't donate money to us.
Don't donate money to the stream.
We can't have that at all. Do not donate to the stream. That's not something that we can have happen
People who do that would be super cool, and they would be perhaps probably the coolest people in the chat at the time if they pull that off and do donate to the stream, but that's just not something that we even want. And yes, that is a Junji Ito shirt, which is very cool over on the side of Aiden. Everybody knows that's cool. There's Mansant. He was literally just right here. Pretty sure he's discovered quantum teleportation. Oh, now he's also showing the stream his talkie-walkies, as you called it.
Yes, because you do the talkies, then you walkies.
Sure. Yep. That is kind of how it goes. But there he is. Somehow he managed to go from here to there. And I don't know how. Probably through locomotion with his legs.
And definitely don't subscribe to the Instant Speed podcast. You cannot do that at all.
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend that you subscribe to the Instant Speed podcast. And I also don't recommend that you sleeve your deck at least 6 times. It's not recommended. And certainly not the amount of times that you'll be seeing in the next week or so. If hey, we need to find a few people because I have a project here that I definitely need some help with. Please,
man,
we need to find a few people here in the event hall at the end of this whole thing, and then I need to find I don't know, like a pool or something.
Maybe we can ask Sir Boltyn Breakerodon. So here we go. It's going to be Sir Boltyn using Raiden in this case, not the God of Lightning from Mortal Kombat, rather a sword.
And both Dotsy and Mara Ferris are now the coolest kids in school. Actually, the coolest kids in school, simply because they both did donate. So I know look, just like teachers say they don't have favorite students, parents say they don't have favorite children. That's just a filthy lie. That's a bold-faced lie. Now Mara and Doxy are both the favorites.
All right, so opening salvo, it's going to be a Nerve Scalpel if they defend with reaction cards. Those are, if this hits rather, the reaction cards are going to be -1 on the block. But it looks like Alex here is calling in an airstrike on his opponent potentially, or he's just trying to communicate with Ethan. Either way, it's a Nerve Scalpel opener. This is a fascinating matchup. Again, when we're talking about Uzuri, in my opinion, kind of plays a little bit like Dorinthia to the degree if you're on the receiving end, you have to really anticipate what they're going to do. Are you all right there, buddy?
All right, thank you so much.
Yes, I'm great. I'm having a great time.
I'm having a great time
calling
also.
in an airstrike was perhaps the single best thing you've ever said, and that's saying a lot because you've said some great things. One time you said I was very good looking, and that was very kind. But this calling in an airstrike was quite a good one. There's the block on the Spider's Bite, and that's the one that you want to block when you're playing as Raiden Boltyn specifically, or just Boltyn in general, because we're not playing a lot of those D-reacts. We are playing a lot of attack actions, though. So.
One of my favorite things I think I've said to you is that I told you that you strike me as somebody who claps when a plane lands.
That was a fantastic line, and I thoroughly appreciate it. But starting things off, going Dagger, Dagger, and then Arsenal. A very standard turn 0 play that allows you to play the 5-card hand, and this is a great find early. Getting Spirit of Arena into the Soul, meaning that you can set up a very big Raiden turn on the back of a double and triple Lumina. And I have, unfortunately, experienced double and triple Lumina on something like turn 3 and turn 4. Those are the highest of rolls that you could see. But that is something that the dream is alive, and there's one of the pieces of the puzzle right there in hand in the ability to just go find at attack reaction speed, find one of those Lumina Ascensions.
So as we see this E-Strike coming in here, it looks like it's going to be I wonder if it's a +2 to go up to 7. Ultimately, though, no, it's going to be the go again. We're going to finish this off with a Leave No Witnesses. Dangerous card that does threaten that arsenal, definitely, but there's no kind of over-the-top ability here in terms of attack reactions with Uzuri will have, definitely. She will have some of that surprise value. But in Uzuri's sort of Uzuri strategy here, is she more of like a mid-range deck? Is she more of just kind of a chip-away damage deck? Or is she kind of a, is she a fatigue deck? What kind of strategies is Uzuri trying to use here?
Well, this is the cool thing about Uzuri is you can build her in a variety of ways. One of the ways that I was actually testing for the Calling DFW with a couple of friends was what we just saw there. Playing out these turns wherein you're providing damage that just is damage on the board in the form of an E-Strike, and then following it up with an on-hit. So if your opponent wants, they can stop the damage on the board, but they have to take the on-hit. Or if they want to stop the on-hit, they have to take the damage on the board. And the other thing that you can play into, of course, with this strategy is swapping out your cards, those cards that you can put to the bottom of the deck with stealth, and then instead playing that Uzuri big game plan where you just swap in the 6s. And that is definitely a different game plan completely, but it's something that you can play into turn from turn, depending on if you draw into those stealth attacks. And this is one of those big plays. We had the start off of the chain, then Raiden comes in, and then we're buffing it with the Beacon of Victory, going and trying to find that instant speed Lumina Ascension, which is going to be played, I believe, as well. Played, gives the buff. Look how beautiful that Lumina Ascension is. That's the extended art first edition, and it looks like it's signed as well.
It is signed. And Alex here, you can see just by the fact that this entire deck is blinged out all the way to the top here, that this is a hero that he loves. Look how the pace of play, the confidence that Alex is throwing, not to mention the record to reflect the fact that he's been successful with this. He knows what he's doing with this deck. That Raiden now coming in for 4 attack, as well as Aiden is just kind of sort of on the receiving end, just trying to digest like what is just happening here. There's so much. Again, Boltyn is not necessarily the most popular here or the most potent. However, when you're playing against it, sometimes these things happen where you are on the receiving end of some I can't razzle dazzle is the word I want to use here.
He gets a banneret into the soul as well. Gets the trigger off that first Lumina Ascension, and not looking to play the hyper combo version, just looking to get value off of that Lumina Ascension and off of that Beacon of Victory. Draws into another Beacon of Victory here. Oh, you can tell he's feeling it. He's got a little shake to the hand. He's got the adrenaline pumping. He got one of his combos to go off. He's just going to cover this up. Just expecting the swap, the Uzuri swap here, and the swap targets are there. It's 2 of them. In fact, you could swap either of them, but because they're covered up, you might as well just drop that into the arsenal because it can only be played from arsenal. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, Alex is playing like he just found out that Aiden favors Skittles over peanut M&Ms, and he wants to put an end to this as fast as possible over here. But yeah, no, you're not wrong here. Those blocking of 6s is kind of the standard procedure here to whenever you're presented with something like a stealth attack that doesn't have, if it's not isolate, doesn't have dominate, just block 6. And in this case, Alex has the right pieces here to make some things happen with Beaming Bravado. And you know why this card is good? Because it almost sounds like Bravo.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's also good because it's now a 4 attack that charged a Banneret of Gallantry, giving you a Quicken token, meaning that you don't have to attack react Boltyn to get the go again off of certain effects. So here we do have a cover up of the Shred, sending in the raid, and this does give it the Quicken. You don't have to react on top of this, which is quite nice. And that's just going to send on over the big chunk 3 attack on the weapon for free.
Yep, infect in front of this, and why not? Let's just keep going. Attack reactions. Aiden just doesn't understand. It's like he doesn't know. It's just getting blindsided by a lot of this, and this is the beauty of this deck. Alex is playing so confidently. You have to know that when you're playing the deck that you just absolutely adore, that you have so many reps on, it feels like it's just muscle memory. It's all reactionary. There's not too much actual conscious thought that you're putting into it. It's like I know as soon as I look at the cards what the lines are and how to make it happen. As the second Lumina Ascension signed, first edition, extended art. What a beautiful, beautiful card Alex is going to be thrown his way.
Yeah, is it bravado or bravado or bravodo? How do you say
Bravoda.
that? Either way, it doesn't matter because that is a ton of attack. We got the buff from the Beacon of Victory. We also got the Lumina Ascension trigger, which gives the extra buff. We sink, or we drop, I should say, the Soul Shield from the top of the deck into the Soul and just ask for more cards. And that's exactly right. Just cover it up so you don't get the extra value, but follow it up with a Valiant Thrust for extra damage. And these are the kind of crazy turns that you can put together with Raid and Boltyn. But the deck does have the problem of running into just brick hands and sometimes just running out of gas after the big Lumina Ascension turns have been expended. So it may not be, just the steamroll of a game going forward now that 2 of those Luminas are now gone.
Well, again, we had a lot of matches this today that were just kind of getting used. Like, you know what? You see that that Arachne match. I want to play Arachne. You see how Dromai play. I want to play Dromai. This is another one. This is a Boltyn match where you just want to play Boltyn because you see Alex and just the sheer reach. And the problem here is that Aiden's just saying, okay, well, I can do this little thing, and I mean it's not a terrible thing. Playing a death touch is an incredibly strong card to play. It has to come from Arsenal, obviously, and he's giving a frailty token as a result. But we're going to go with a Take Flight Red here. It's going to cost you 1 you charge. It does have the built-in Go Again. He's charging with that Sink below. It's 3 Go Again off of this because Frailty's going to give it a little haircut here. So Go Again, 3 attack. But
no, I don't think did that come from the Arsenal. I'm not quite sure it did, but nevertheless, it's going to get covered up no matter what.
Did it not come from our? Okay,
no,
that's my bad.
I think it's straight up just drawn into. But nevertheless, we are going to activate Iron Song Versus, and we are going to send the Raiden. This is -1 by Frailty. It only comes for 2, but if it hits, Iron Song Versus triggers and creates you a nice little Courage token on the backswing. And a lot of times you don't necessarily want to throw something in front of this, but Crown of Providence allows us to cycle a card that we don't necessarily need. And now that we know the turn structure is kind of coming to a close, we might be just fine sending this Crown of Providence, finding something different to sculpt our hand with so that we can go back on the offensive as Aiden and as Uzuri.
We've passed 5 minutes of this match, but there's the 3rd Lumina Ascension. We're not going to figure this one out just yet as that Crown of Providence gets put over the top by Lumina Ascension again. Incredible. Alex has found all the pieces over here to make this just absolutely disgusting. We're going to go ahead and, hey, why not? Courage token? Sure, no problem. We're going to continue the onslaught here, blocking with Razor's Edge, one of the best WWF finishers by one Scott Hall, the Razor's Edge.
And one of those things that you do look for after you've expended all your Lumina Ascensions is, filling up your soul with all of these cards that you're getting off of them. But in this case, you're just making enough soul so that you can make use of that card right there, Celestial Cataclysm. You don't want that in the soul. You want to be able to play that at the end game when you're basically expended from your threats. And having it in the soul is a bit of a downside, but pushing damage and trying to get your opponent off of these big turns that they're clearly trying to set up is the name of the game thus far. But now is the point. Now is the time where we actually have to see if Alex can continue to push damage when you know you don't have those big attack reactions.
Yeah, we're going to cover this Engulfing Light. It's going to create a charge off of the just playing it over here. If it hits, it also goes to Soul here, but he's loading up here. He's got 4 cards in Soul, and we're going to go with a Ravenous Rabble, revealing a Nimble Strike.
Yeah, not a card you see often, but this is that sort of that aggressive version of Uzuri where you're not necessarily doing the Uzuri Switchblade effect. You're just doing this. Damage on board, on hit effect. Do something about it. You have to pick one. You can't take care of all of this. You don't have the defense to take care of the damage on board, and if you want to take care of the on hit effect, then you're going to have to wait and take all the other damage. And that's exactly what we see. The game plan is effectuated right there.
Wonderful to see a lot of these heroes like Sir Boltyn, who may not have been as prominent in the meta, but here he is at 4-1. Alex is showing you how it's done. V of the Vanguard is a nice way to open this up, opting to, I believe, charge 1 with the Illuminate.
Yes, that's correct. Charging the Illuminate here gives the buff, and it gives you the ability to attack react Sir Boltyn here. This gives a buff as well. This pushes to 5, but the 5 is blocked out. And we're going to follow that up on the same chain link so that we don't break the chain and get the buff continuing over from the V of the Vanguard. That's going to go over to Bolt of Courage for 4, which is a great card to have at a breakpoint. And your opponent, you've caught them with the unfortunate Sigil of Solace, which is an interesting card inclusion in a deck that's already going so aggressive. but gonna cover the 4 with the Flick Knife.
Whoa, why not? Let's just
gonna
throw another
say-
beacon of victory over the top of
Look,
this bad boy.
Even Aiden chuckles. It's like, this is insane. How many does he drop here, though? The question becomes, do we send more than just the 1 and just push over the top of this? Do we send multiples? Do we do 2? Because managing your soul is one of those underratedly difficult things to do when playing Boltyn. If you just go for broke and you're just like, we'll just throw the kitchen sink at him, then you don't have the capability of attack reacting enough to continue your turns in the later times, in the later turn cycles.
I would say that it's much akin to just sort of managing your Ash economy as a Dromai player. For players who might not be as familiar with Boltyn, there are so many other kind of aspects of resource that you have to be aware of. For Dromai, it's Ash. For Boltyn, it's soul. You have to make sure that you're loading it up, and it's very difficult to have that in abundance. But here it comes. Okay, so we're going to go in with an Illuminate, a 0 cost for 4 on hit. It goes to soul, but it's going to get a little bit of a help here from some of the buffs.
Yeah, Via the Vanguard continues on this chain because this chain has just been extended, and Illuminate's going to go to the soul. He attack reacted so he can continue, and he goes Bolt of Courage again. This is absolutely nuts. This is this is Christmas land right here. Is he gonna attack react and send Raiden on the same chain? I have never seen 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5 chain V of the Vanguard. Look, everybody is breathing just this insane. He's at 1.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Tunic went to 2. We're at 2 on the Tunic. Yeah, so incredible, absolutely incredible what a Boltyn player can do. And when a Boltyn player is committed to the hero that they love so much, they can do things like this, which not only shows you the potency of it, but also inspires players to say, I want to do things like this too. If there's any solace to be had here by Aiden, it's the fact that the soul is now completely washed clean. And unfortunately, though, he has 1 life to live left here for Aiden, and that's not just oh my goodness.
Okay,
well,
this is going to be a little tricky. He's going to drop 2 in, and I was wondering if he's going to send the 2, but that still threatens a Raiden activation and a possible Arsenal activation as well. That looks like, I don't know if that Courage is up right now, that Courage token that we see in the bottom right. I'm not sure if this is, I think this is probably just where he keeps it. Yeah, it doesn't look like that is, but catching your opponent with 2 blocks in hand makes this a very scary turn indeed. That is going to be a 5 damage, and you're gonna take everything. You have to take everything. This is the moment where this could be your only saving grace, otherwise you just die. But take the entire hand and try again next turn. But that's the question mark right now. What is in the arsenal? Do we know? Ethan, did you catch what's in the arsenal?
Counter on Tunic. Pass turn.
all right.
Okay, so this is a sink below. Yeah, we just saw the flash of the sink below there.
Okay, well, again, another massive attack pattern here.
And the sound pops over us. But look, a brand new card activation, and we're getting the destruction of the new legendary activation here. When you charge a yellow card, I believe, it's going to allow you, look, there it is. Pay 2, destroy this. Next time you attack, this turn you can charge your hero's soul. If a yellow card's charged, draw a card. So a little bit of cycle being employed here. I was very curious to see if we did see the activation of the brand new warband, and here it is.
No charge on this.
Incredible. I mean, Alex has been absolutely relentless over here. The cards that he has drawn have just lined up beautifully. It has been a symphony of attacks over here, as he hasn't really charged any soul in this particular turn, but he has still managed to cobble together multiple attacks in a spectacular way, and we're going to end it with a CNC just like that.
Now, the card, I believe, is Sigil of Solace, so you can just play the Sigil and show that you're technically at the 4 life, but, and I think he might be doing that. Yep, he's going to show that he's at 4 life. You can keep stringing it along if you want to just keep your opponent in the dark, but here you have to and try to cover it up, because that was actually getting a buff from the Courage token, I think. So that was a CNC for 7, which is pretty hilarious. But your opponent is completely expended. They have 1 block on their equipment available to them. They have a 4-card hand, and they are Uzuri, which sometimes plays a decent number of 2-block cards.
So Alex now with another hand. He's got an Illuminate in there. I believe, is that a Bolt of Courage, if I'm not mistaken? Ultimately, he's got his opponent Aiden down to 3.
Yeah.
There's the Illuminate. And he's just, again, he's taking a look here. You know your deck inside out when you can just take like 4% of the artwork and realize exactly what the lines of the play are. It's going to go ahead and pitch a Bolt of Courage red, playing yellow Take Flight.
Yep. Banneret of Courage trigger gives a Courage token. Now, we saw at the very outset of this game, the very first card charged over here now is where it is, but it was a Courageous Steel Hand red. That is a 1 attack reaction that you have to worry about. We've already used the Beacons of Victory, but now it's almost impossible to play around at this point. But if he has another copy in his deck, Alex can just win the game outright if he finds that and charges prior.
Cover 6, bumping it to 6.
6 over the top. No problem. We're going to vanish to give it go again. Raiden for 3 here. Frailty's going to make that 2, I believe.
Nevertheless, has to cover it up. Going to do so. He has that sink below in the arsenal, which is an unfortunate scenario right here, and drawing into another D-react.
But he does find a red take flight, if I'm not mistaken, over here, which is just a standard go again with a charge option here. The Soul Shield can go. We don't need defense if we're all going full gas. Is that I think it's a yellow. Sorry, it's a yellow take flight. So he's going to be pitching the Soul Shield, charging up the Bolt of Courage. It's going to be 3 go again, but it's going to get buffed up by the charge effect. So those are 2 blocks.
Yes, that's a big get for Alex. You want them to draw into their 2 blocks so that you can push these breakpoint attacks. And here, you didn't have a breakpoint attack, but you still got 2 blocks out of it, which is fantastic.
So it stays on board.
Use the attack dice.
Oh. Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
They want the dice displayed so that it's easier to see. Look, there it is. I could have drawn it. Like, we could have drawn the dice for him. We could have just been like,
Yeah, that's not bad. 40 damage into the game. We can start telling you how big these attacks are. So this is there's no frailty token to sort of give this one a haircut. It's 3 attack off of the fact that he did charge. Take Flight did charge an attack Raiden. It costs you nothing, but you need to charge to have an effect with it. It's going to be blocked nice and tight here, 3, but it does go up because of the Boltyn effect. So little bit goes through engulfing light at the end of this.
he's going to give it, given the whole thing, because you do not want this to charge into your hero's soul if you can avoid it. But he's unfortunately going to have to give it up and send that into the soul, which is great for Alex and not great for Aiden. But now he is completely expended. He is at the mercy of the top of his deck, and he lucks. He lucks into drawing the sink, but perhaps on the perfect time because another massive turn lined up.
6.
Oh, man, this is just so nasty, unfortunately, here for Aiden. Aiden had 1 Death Touch, which was kind of nasty.
Yeah, he played a Death Touch once. I remember that card.
He nerfed Scalpeled on turn 0. That's a thing. We're going to go ahead and block with a Codex of Frailty.
Yep.
And he's going to give the sink, and now his hand's completely open. If there's anything to follow it up, that's just the game.
Wow. Okay.
Can he pay for the bolting blade there? He has the resources. Yeah, because he charged twice on the via the Vanguard. So that's a free bolting blade. And Aiden is just stunned. Absolutely starstruck.
It was